Hello, and welcome back to Freedom to Nourish. If you're new here, this is a space where we challenge diet culture, support eating disorder recovery, and work toward making peace with food and with our bodies. And I want to start by sharing something very human and very real. Many of you probably are in the same boat, and that is I recently recovered from a pretty severe flu. And I'm feeling a little bit better. The experience did stir up something important that I know some of you may recognize, especially if you're in recovery. And that's when illness takes away your appetite, when your body feels weak, and when weight loss happens unintentionally. Diet culture and toxic wellness trends can make you feel like you're at war with your own body, constantly doubting yourself and chasing impossible standards. But it doesn't have to be that way. I'm Kathy Salata, a recovered anorexia survivor and educator, and this is Freedom to Nourish. Each week we'll have real conversations, share stories, and give you tools to finally make peace with food and respect your body. No more food rules, no more body shame, just the freedom to be yourself again. For many people in recovery, that moment can feel dangerous. Not because illness is a choice, but because diet culture and eating disorders are opportunistic. They whisper, hey, maybe this is a chance. Maybe you can keep this going. Maybe this means something good. So today I want to talk about how I return to basics, why that matters, and how can we protect ourselves in our recovery during times when our bodies are just vulnerable. So let's just name something openly. That loss of appetite and weight due to illness, it's not a moral achievement. I've often heard others who aren't in eating disorder recovery say, I got a really bad flu, but the good news is I lost some weight. Well, that can be dangerous territory for someone with disordered eating or an eating disorder, because loss of appetite and weight due to illness is not a moral achievement. It's not discipline. It's not a reset, and it is not a shortcut. But diet culture has trained us to think that this is the way it is. When you're sick, your body is already under stress. Your immune system is working overtime. Your energy is limited. And for people with a history of disordered eating, this combination can activate old neural pathways, old coping mechanisms that pretend to offer control when what's really needed is care. And illness does not mean your body needs less. It actually means it needs more support, even if hunger cues aren't quite right. And that's when I just went back to basics. And what I mean by that is I followed the brat diet, eating those bland, gentle foods without judgment. When I was sick, and I'm still recovering from this, food was not exciting. It wasn't pleasurable, and that's okay. But I knew that my body needed nourishment. So I focused on those bland, easy to digest foods, things that felt tolerable, not impressive, like the soups, the toast, the crackers, the rice, those simple carbohydrates, foods that I could manage to eat without feeling nausea. Not because they were good foods, but because my body needs the nutrients to heal, whether my appetite agreed or not. This wasn't intuitive eating in the Instagram sense. This was biological wisdom. Sometimes nourishment looks boring. Sometimes it looks repetitive. Sometimes it looks like eating without desires. But that is still nourishment. And in this crazy culture that we live in, where we're human doings instead of human beings, we are always just taught push through. Recovery, on the other hand, tells us to listen. And one thing I did that I don't do a lot of is I rested a lot. Not because I earned it, not because I was being good, but because my body needed it. I had to remind myself, rest is not laziness. Rest is not weakness. Rest is a form of healing. And for many of us, it's deeply uncomfortable because we've been taught to override our bodies for years. Recovery during illness means letting your body take the lead again. And of course, going back to basic fluids, hydration, drinking fluids became part of my self-care rhythm, not as a cleanse, not as a detox, but as a basic physiological factor. Hydration supports circulation, digestion, immune function, energy. And it wasn't about controlling hunger or filling up. It was about supporting a system that was already doing some hard work. And sometimes the most radical thing you can do is meet your body where it is and meet those simple needs. So I consciously stopped the internal dialogue of shoulds. I should be back to normal. I should be more productive. Recovery isn't about performing wellness. It's about responding to reality with compassion. Those shoulds should go away. I didn't ask anybody to prove anything. I didn't turn illness into a project. I let it be what it was and focused on care and not control. And so if you're listening to this while you are sick or recovering from illness, I would love to just share that temporary appetite loss does not invalidate your recovery. And I have to remind myself, this is temporary. It's like a wave. This is not forever. Unintentional weight changes are not opportunities to continue that trajectory. And your worth does not increase when your body takes up less space. So going back to basics is not regression, it's stability. Recovery doesn't mean you'll never face triggers. It means you learn how to respond when they show up. And sometimes that response is quiet. Those simple, everyday things, that gentle food, rest, fluids, fewer expectations, and more compassion. And if this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to check in with yourself today, not with judgment, but with curiosity, and ask, what does my body need right now? Where can I soften instead of push? And how can I protect my recovery during vulnerability? You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to bounce back. You just need to keep choosing care over control, one small decision at a time. And I thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing nourishment. And as always, you are not broken and your body is not the problem. Until next time, this is Freedom to Nourish.
If you're ready to step into a kinder, fuller life, subscribe now and join me each week for Freedom to Nourish. Because your body deserves respect, your story deserves to be heard, and you deserve to live fully right now.